Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to add some structure to your peplum. As you can see, this is already a cut circle. It's going to be used for a peplum top. The peplum top is going to have inverted pleats. So because we're going to invert the pleats, we're not going to interface this fabric, because the inverted pleats will have some additional ripples to the peplum. So at the end of the whole process, I'm going to ask my client if she wants the pleats pressed down or if she loves the ripples as they are. So a very important step is to cover up the edge of your crinoline, just as I have done here. The reason is because the crinoline tends to fray a lot, so you need to cover it up, and sometimes it can even pierce through the lining or the fabric and poke the skin of the customer. Just take a look at what I'm doing here. See how easily it comes apart. So it's really important to keep that in place and ensure that it doesn't go through the fabric and cause your customer to be uncomfortable. When you start sewing, you sew half an inch away from the edge of your circle, and then you make sure you're sewing on the lining. So with my peplum, the main fabric, the Ankara fabric, is beneath, the lining is on top, and then the crinoline is on top of the lining. So you're going to make sure that you sew about half an inch away from the edge without pulling the crinoline as you go. You make sure that you just align the edge of your crinoline with the edge of the circle and just run it through. So if what you're making is a circle skirt or even a fitted dress with a flare beneath, you can use this method as well to give it some structure and make it stand out. So now that I've gotten to the end of the peplum, I cut off the remaining crinoline and then get a piece of fabric to cover up the edge, just like I did in the beginning. So if you're not going to be using a piece of the fabric, the main fabric on the lining, make sure that the fabric you're using does not have the colors washing out, so you don't have a different color staining your main fabric when your client washes their dress. So when I hold it in place, I'm going to then run the stitch over it, and you could use your glue to secure the remaining part of the piece of fabric on your crinoline. So the very next thing you're going to do is to open wide the peplum and then flip over the seam allowance towards the side of the crinoline, which is also the side of your lining, and top stitch. So you're going to leave an allowance of 1/4 of an inch. So you're going to top stitch, and that is going to make the edge of your peplum lay down as flat and as neatly as possible. Make sure you pull the fabric wide apart as you top stitch, so that you don't have you don't mistakenly take up some of the main fabric on the other side. So you make sure you spread it wide apart and then you top stitch as you see me doing. So this is how one side looks, and the other side looks like this. And then what you're going to do next is to turn it over. You can use a blunt tool to push out the edge so that everything, it forms a right angle at the edge. And then you're going to close up the edge. You're going to close it up. It just makes everything tidy and neat. So when you do this, you give it a good press and it is ready to be attached to the bodice of your top. So after doing this, I'm going to complete the top. As you can see, I have not joined the bodice. The first thing I did or chose to do was the peplum, and you can see the ripples are already forming. You can see how nice it looks. So I'm going to show you a picture of how the top turned out at the end of the day. So guys, we've come to the end of today's tutorial, and here is how the top turned out. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like the video, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching guys, and bye for now.